Good morning. This is a tutorial of the finance module of the My Class campus of how it works and what are its features and how the reports are generated through the finance module. So first of all, the main screen shown is the finance dashboard where you get along of all the main features of it like company management, collection centers, expense manager, fees management, miscellaneous fees, wallet, passbook, check management and transfer money. Also down there is a column of today's activities where you can just click on the following months from which day to which day do you need the data, and so can be searched and the whole data of the finance will be shown of the company wise, whether it is plus it was a transaction in the fees, wallet, miscellaneous fees, expense, there was a transfer of money, there was a transfer for salary, purchase, sales, inquiry, and then comes the total. So like this in general, in the first finance dashboard itself, you can have a total summary of how the expense or the finance of your school or institute is going through, and you can have a total data of what's going on. Now, moving on to the first part, that is the company master. On the left hand side, if you could see, the first thing comes the company master. Now, what is company master? Okay, so this is a feature in the My Class campus which we have is we create different kinds of companies here according to the school's needs or the institute's needs. Now, why we do such is because some of the schools have different kinds of bank accounts. Like for example, for example, I have created here around five kinds of companies which are demo companies, like the trust company. So some schools say in my trust account, in my trust company, only the fees should come. But which kind of fees? The regular fees. From the miscellaneous company, only the salaries of my executives should be generated. From the extra fees, all the extra fees like the fine fees or book fees, etc., should come in. So accordingly, if the school needs different kinds of companies to be created with the bank accounts linked with these companies, so accordingly we do that for them so that it is easy for them to keep a track of all the stuff, of all the transactions or the money coming in. So it's a simple process. If you want to create any kind of company, just click on the create company here. You need to select your institutes here, the company's name, whichever you want to keep, and the address. Of course, the next step will be the financial year, then the cash account and the bank account are the third and the fourth steps, where we will be linking the bank account with the help of the IIFC code, and the last will be the settings, whichever you want to link with. For example, if the fees of the particular standard has to be linked with this company, so it can be linked with it. If the salary has to be generated with of the employees through the other company, that can be linked with. So like this we just create different kinds of companies, link the cash account to the bank account and the institutes here, and also link the particular feature like fees and HR management, expense, etc., to particular companies, so that that particular money transaction coming in or taking out of the software of the school is given as a full summary in that particular company. So this was a feature which we have in the finance module. Moving up to the next, we have the collection centers. Now, obviously, any school would not have just one center for the collection of the fees. So, accordingly, you can create a numerous amount of collection centers here. Just click on the Add New Center. Click the name of the collection center. Also, select the employee from your school itself for which you want to assign that collection center to. And in such a way, all these collection centers would fall down here. These are some of the collection centers I have made in my demo account. Okay, moving on to the next feature which we have is the expense management. Now, in the finance module itself, you can have the expense management. Also, we have the expense module differently in the dashboard itself. So it directs us directly to the expense module. If we click on it, what we get is this kind of screen where you can manage all the data of your expenses going on in the particular school or institute. For example, first of all, we need to put up different kinds of expense categories for what the expenses are to be taken in the particular school or institute. For example, entertainment, local transport, trust, etc. Any kind of such categories can be made for the expenses in the school or institute. Second thing what we need to do is we need to make the expense vendors. Who are the expense vendors in the particular school? For example, I have just made one vendor here, the mobile number and the address. So it will be easy for any school to know that the so and so expense was made to so and so vendor for which purpose. So that's the reason first we create the expense categories and then we create the expense vendors. After creating the expense categories and the vendors, all we need to do is just go to add expense voucher. It will be put here. The info whatever is accordingly has to be put up, like the expense vendor, the expense categories, all will be drop down of whatever you have created. The expense categories whatever you have created would drop down accordingly. The title, the description, of course the expense date, the amount of how much is the expense, if any kind of attachment, if you have any kind of slip generated and all, that could be put up here, the reference number if you want to have, and of course the collection center from where the expense have been made. And just click on add new expense. So in such a way, all the expenses other than the fees or the salary generated, the fees and salary are a separate thing, but other than fees and salary, if there is any kind of extra expense which the school or institute is facing or has done it, can be put up in this expense module and hence can have a full track of how the expenses are going on. Okay, so after the expense, what we have next is the fee management. Now, as I said, the finance, expense, and the fee management are the three modules which are linked up to each other. So again, as the expense is linked with finance, in the same way, the fee module is also linked up with the finance module. So as soon as we click on the fee management, what appears is the fee module. Okay, so in this fee module, as we know, the main master setup has to be done first for any of the fee for any students in any particular classroom. For example, the account master, that we know the companies. Then the fee categories, if you have different kinds of fee categories, regular, transport, miscellaneous, etc. If there are some subcategories in that particular fees, even that could be done. The collection centers, of course, the collection centers can be put up. Then comes the batches. Of course, for every classroom, the batches have to be created. For example, like first day, second week, like from which date to which date, the fee options are open for the students or the parents to pay the fees. So that's why we need to create batches, which is very necessary, so that in that particular span of time, for example, here it's shown that 17/6/2020 to 14/4/2021. So in this span of time, particularly the parents of the standard first A can pay the fees. So this is a very important feature of our fee module, where you have to create different kinds of batches so that the students are imported in this particular um, uh, feature, and hence the date of the batches are also done. Next comes the fee cycle labels. Now, what are fee cycle labels? Obviously, there are kinds of installments which would be added for the fees. So those installments could be added from here. After doing all of it, we just need to map the categories. For example, I had told you we create companies. Now, from which company the following fees will be would be generated? Like for example, the trust fee should come in the trust company, or the miscellaneous fee should come in the miscellaneous company. So accordingly, whichever fees you want according to the categories, it could be mapped to that particular company, and hence all the fees, for example, like trust fees will come in and it would go to the trust company itself in that particular bank account. So this was the main setup of it. After that, we can do the fee payment here. Just need to go to the fee payment, type the name of the student. Like for suppose I'll just type here Ria. I'll get her details, and there will be an option of pay fees. As soon as I go to the pay fees option, what I get to see is the fee which I have created in the master setup. We'll be providing all the setups. So accordingly, all this is coming here. We just need to go to the take fee. The fee will be taken, and also a receipt would be generated for the same. This is how the fee will be taken. Now, accordingly, send due SMS. There is an option of sending a due SMS too. For example, when we created the batches, a particular date is given, a span is given from which date to which date the fee can be paid. But if the parent does not pay the fee in so and so span of time and the due date has already gone, so hence we can send a due SMS for the due date of the fees by this feature. Next comes the check history. Obviously, if any student has paid the fees through check, that would be showing in the check history. As of now, it is blank because in the demo institute we haven't created any kind of fees through the check history. Then comes the students last year pending fees. It would be shown up to you. All the last year's pending fees would be shown up to you. Ban user histories would be shown. Demand letter, even the demand letter according to the course, date and fee categories, all the demand letter reports will be shown to you. Accordingly, all the reports together, if it was discount wise report, student wise master report, payment summary, date wise, due paid summary, such kinds of reports can be generated for all the fees: check status, check on hand, accounts, collection center report, fee payment note report, cancelled receipts. So there are around almost 20 plus reports which could be generated through the fee management, which is linked up to the finance module. Also, we have the online transaction logs which will be there, and then comes the miscellaneous fees. So this was the fee management, which is linked up to the finance module. Also the expense management, which is linked up to the finance module. These two modules are linked up to the finance, and hence it falls in the finance itself. Also in the dashboard itself, we will have separately the fee as well as the expense module. After moving up to the next, we have the wallet feature. Now, what is a wallet feature? Now, in particular schools, there are hostels there, so the parents do not provide some kind of money to the students for their daily needs or hostel fees, canteen fees, etc. We have a feature called the wallet where the students pay a particular kind of money. For example, 5,000. A parent comes into the school, asks the school, please put up rupees 5,000 into my child's wallet, and that 5,000 would be put up through this software just by clicking on the department, classroom, and the name of the student. And what we'll do is 5,000 money would be debited to that wallet of the student, and hence that 5,000 could be used for any of the needs, for example canteen, for example hostel, or any other book fees, etc. So this was a wallet feature which we have in the finance module. After that comes the passbook. Now obviously everybody knows what's a passbook. A passbook shows all the transactions at first in the total of the whole school or the institute. For example, I just click on the 3rd of 4th of February till the 24th of April, select all the companies that are there, select both the institutes of mine whichever are there, and at last just get my passbook. So as in such, I would get such kind of detail all together: salary generated, if it was a wallet, if it was an expense, if it was a transfer, fee, salary. Accordingly, debit wise, if it was a credit or it was a debit, which vendor has done it, which institute it has been going through, the company's account, it was a cash account, bank account, from which collection center, which employee has done it, and the description at last, whether it was the salary generated for which employee, or the wallet credited for which student, or the expense finance fees by for which of the vendors. So like this, in short, all the passbook details, that is the full transaction details of any of your institute, any of your company together at whole, we get the full report of it. So this is a very amazing feature of the module. After that, we go to the check management. The check management is just for, suppose I had explained, for all of those who pay the fees or the salary by check itself. So that shows the in the check history. Next comes the transfer of money. Now I had told you that we'll be having different kinds of companies and bank accounts. So for example, if there is a lack of money in any of the company account, we could transfer money within the companies itself. Just go to transfer money, select the company, select the account, and transfer it to the next company account. How much money it has to be done, which date, attachment, etc. has to be done, and hence accordingly that transfer of money would be appearing from one company bank account to the next company bank account. Also, we have a feature of the deposit or the withdrawal of the money. Just click on deposit money, fill up the details, which company, which account, and done. Or the withdrawal of money, again, which company, which account, the category, payment, reference number, etc. And all of this data can be stored for the deposit or the report of the money. Next comes the reports, the main reports of how we can use it. First of all, the summary at a glance. Now, how we had the passbook, in the same way, we have the summary of all the things done here, like from 4th of February to to the 23rd of April. I select all the companies here so that I get everything in detail. And next, I select all the institutes. Okay, and then I just say get data, and this is what a total summary we would get: the income and expense, the expenses differently, which two expenses have been made on which date for what use, the fine fees, local transport if it was for entertainment or trust. These are the expense categories. Then comes the summary data, collection wise, collection center wise also gives us that, the check history from date to date. Also the fees, how much fees, total paid fees, total refundable fees, due fees, today's activity, in particular today's activity, date wise check, online, Paytm, DD, everything can be done. Collection center wise report of how much money is there in which center to which employee, everything in detail can be seen here. This is a very amazing feature of the module, where in particular, in short, all the reports can be generated. The admin can have an access to everything in detail. So it is a very good report, a summary over here. Okay, so this was a main summary. Also we can have the income and expense summary over here. Also we can create ledgers from here. On the left hand side, if you can see, the ledgers can be created, and user ledger wise or ledger wise we can see the reports. After that, we have the tally sync history. Now the tally sync history only works with the tally integration software. After that, what we have is the online transaction logs and the transactions settlements. Obviously, in the online transaction logs, all the data of the online transactions would be shown up. So this was in short a summary of the finance module, but not only of the finance, it also shows of the fee as well as of the expense management module. So the finance, expense, and the fee modules are linked up together, and it's one of the most amazing features of the MyClass campus, because it generates different kinds of reports like passbook, wallet, summary, all in total differently, collection wise, company wise, institute wise, also showing the expense, fee, salary generated, etc. So in such way we can manage the whole institute's finance module, as well as the finance, HR management, the salary generated, and the expenses. Thank you.